Hello there, my name is Rudy Van Camel, and I say welcome back to Tiny Atoll, our tiny zoo on a beautiful Caribbean, whatever, kind of tropical island, tiny atoll kind of thing. And today we are building in a very modded way. That said, we are using the first time ever not only animal mods but also scenery item mods, and quite a few of them. I'll be talking about that when it's ready, but let me just quickly brief you in. If you are new to the channel or new to the project, what are we even doing here? This is a diorama kind of build in which we are having this little atoll in the sea, and we are building a zoo with only small-ish tiny animals, and we already have a couple of habitats with some lovely little animals, you know, wombats and stuff, and also some small penguins, and you know, very much a cozy little area. And we are not focusing too much on realism because obviously on a little atoll like that it's not really super realistic to have a zoo, but hey, let's just run our imagination a little bit over here. What we don't have is a proper little harbor area to connect. We do have a tiny airstrip, like kind of airport is maybe too much of a word for it, but like there's a little strip where small-ish planes can land, and on the opposite side of our tiny island here we are going to have a bit of a harbor where actual ships and yachts can basically land. But that's not all. We are going to implement a wonderful little beach area where some flamingos and some sea turtles are roaming around. And you can potentially tell as the development of Planet Zoo 1 has stopped and we still haven't had any sea turtles as a proper in-game animal. That already is going to be a mod. The video is split into two parts. The first time-lapse part is mostly building these keys over here and piers and stuff, making sure we have a set kind of theme going on, which is totally unmodded. The only thing I have is free build as always. For those of you who don't know, free build is a go-to mod. If you're playing on computer and you don't have free build yet, please get it, because essentially it doesn't change the game for whatever. It doesn't take away any of the management if you will play with management, but it does allow you to build certain things where usually the game is a bit annoying when it comes to pathways and stuff, and you just can't place them anywhere because there's some restrictions and they're stupid. Free build basically gets rid of those and you can just use it and build as you go. Now, I've been out of Planet Zoo for a while. Well, technically that's not true. We've had that little Taylor Swift build lately, which seemingly the algorithm has again hidden from people. So if you are interested in that, I built a habitat in a way if Taylor Swift would build it. I'm gonna link it anywhere. Let's have a look at the time code so I remember where to put it. So I'm gonna link it to the top right or left or whatever. If you can click, just watch it later, I don't know. That was a lot of fun, and despite the fact it seemed to have not sparked too much interest, I loved the concept so much that I will do a couple more of those just because they're fun. But also, I just recently discovered that I'm still having a lot of fun in Planet Zoo. Planet Zoo is a game that is not it's not really a coincidence that I have had my biggest amount of hours ever put into a game. It's just so good, and looking forward to the second part being released this year. I'm very happy to go there, and you know, Tiny Atoll is potentially going to be our last full series, or actually not potentially, it's most likely almost for certain our last little series, and this first island is almost done, and the next couple islands will be mostly one or two animals, but I'm still enjoying this very much, so you can still look forward to quite a lot of content here when you like this. Now also, the other concept, as I said, is something that can carry quite nicely, but what I was lacking the most lately is, well, new content in a way, because apparently we do know now that the game is fully done. We as creators have received this incredibly nice little Zoopedia book, which honestly is fantastic. It's one of the coolest creator gifts I've ever received. It's so valuable and so high quality, and like the in-game shots look so freaking amazing. It's really a cool one. But yeah, playing the game, obviously there is a lack of news value, and therefore I went to see if there are a couple of mods. And when I was looking into the mods, I did expect only animals to happen. But yeah, I was surprised that there are a couple of scenery mods, or scenery packs in a way, I'm almost tempted to say. And yeah, they have been really damn cool, and I've been using them, I've been testing them. There's no issue, no hiccup, no performance hit or whatever. And there's one thing I quickly want to talk about, because I do hope, and I've already asked in a modding Discord if it is in the works. Unfortunately not, but there is a foliage remaster mod for Planet Zoo, which basically changes every single in-game plant to look even better. And for those of you who know the game, you know that the foliage in Planet Zoo already is pretty damn good for the most part. I'd say that 75% of the plants are amazingly great in terms of the model, and one of the biggest weaknesses of Planet Coaster 2 is still the looks of some of the plants, which is ridiculous because they could have just copied the Planet Zoo version over, which they haven't. So I was hoping that maybe some people can convert the plants from Planet Zoo over to Planet Coaster 2. However, it's not happening, at least not now, but I would hope to have that in the future. But yeah, this mod, let alone, and also the fact that I got some other cool animals for the game, just gave me enough of a drive to build again in here. What you're looking at though is a relatively old recording. It's so old that it's actually last year. It's not even a joke anymore because we're way into February, but that's not even a joke. I've been recording this way back in yeah, it's been December actually. I've had another parental leave lately. For the whole month of January, and I thought I was going to do some more stuff, but you know, apparently a parental leave is meant to care for your kids, which is what I did. So I didn't have that much time to do videos and stuff, but you know what, I enjoyed the time with the little two kids, and so it's all good. But now I figured it's time to go back, and yeah, with these mods and with these little things, there was a good spark of creativity bringing me back, because in all honesty, and I'm not really sure why that is, but like it's very sad to see that so little people play Planet Coaster 2. At least if you are a zoo person and you enjoy that, please give Planet Coaster 2 the time until Planet Zoo 2 releases to give it a proper chance, because I feel like people miss out on something. Planet Coaster 2 has become so good, and also has made it, for me, increasingly difficult to come back to Planet Zoo. And if I'm not mistaken, and I read the comments and I read the vibe and sentiment in my Discord and other Discords, but also on YouTube comments, I think I'm not the only person feeling this way. Simply all of these new, increasingly good features like scaling and the new pathing, and also some of the new features that were added alongside the way, the better souvenir shops, the better restaurant, like you name it. There's a whole bunch of things that have been also in Planet Zoo, but have been now majorly improved in Planet Coaster 2. Yeah, makes it increasingly difficult to play this game. I'll be fully transparent with you. It's not maybe the most clever thing to say in the video, but let me tell you, there's a good reason for that. Because despite all the odds, despite all these things, I figured every now and then playing Planet Zoo is so refreshing. And I've been really wrapping my head around why that is, and eventually, it's the most basic reason. It's the animals. And I want to use that little part because we are now skipping over to exactly the point where this is. It's perfectly fitting, as if I've planned it to talk about this right now. I didn't though, but it's a good moment to start talking about this specific thing. I figured that the ability to build habitats for animals that can actually use it's one of the main arguments I've already been talking about in my praising video about why Planet Zoo is such a good game. I still feel like this is the essence of why this game is so popular and keeps on giving. The sheer joy of creating a fully free-form, handmade habitat of your dreams and then giving that to the in-game animals, and they can actually use it, is so satisfying. And here, by the way, here you can see all the modded items. I've been throwing them down to the ground to check them out all. You can see there's a whole bunch of like little cobbles and bushes and like concrete pieces, and even some cool trees and grass pieces and leaves and all these kind of things. Also this kind of pampas grass there, it's actually even called that way in English, I guess, but oh my god, it's looking so freaking good, and some of the ferns look so realistic. And if you're wondering why certain in-game trees will also look different, this is the remaster, as I said, so it's not all new pieces. Some of the trees, like the kapok tree and so on, they have been completely reworked, and some of the beech trees as well. They look as if they are a new piece, but they are essentially the in-game piece just reworked with like different textures and and stuff. We also do have a bit of a different sand piece over here, which came in very nicely because I was figuring that especially the Caribbean vibes and tropical vibes were really lacking, simply because in the tropical biome we don't really have white sand. That's something we do have in other biomes, so yeah, it's not been. One thing that is pretty cool about these cobble pieces, by the way, is they don't have a collision model, so that means animals will be able to roam around that very nicely and in a free way. So it's looking freaking cool. You'll have a cinematic at the end when the animals move across this area and across this beach. Just saying, I opted for a completely free habitat. We will have animals breaking out and escaping from the habitat eventually, but honestly, as this is all Sandbox anyways, and it's a diorama, well, I couldn't care less. I really am, like, I do prefer the fact they can roam around free. I could have done the habitat and just completely, you know, framed the entire island as one, but that is pretty harsh on the performance. The bigger the habitat is, the more they have to calculate the traversable area, so I kind of kept it reasonably small. But eventually animals will escape despite I disabled escapes, which is good in a way because you don't just get all these notifications all the time. Animals will be just beamed back into position, so that's kind of what it is, and I can absolutely deal with it. But yeah, here you can see all these things. But again, as I said earlier, the essence of why this is so satisfying is like seeing all these habitats been built and then having these animals in the habitat actually using it, and every change matters in terms of how they move and how they experience it. Has this, I think it actually is superior for me personally at the moment in comparison to coasters and stuff. As much as I love coasters and as much as this is potentially the thing I am even more interested in, I think the reward of seeing this, how animals and stuff use it, is just a tiny bit more of a satisfying reward. Like, I think Planet Coaster 2 can get there if especially pools and stuff become better, and we will get some more stuff like mini golf and, I don't know, some more engaging stuff which your decision matters more. And don't get me wrong on that, it's hard to say because building a coaster and seeing that in action with all your scenery later and going on the on-ride is super satisfying as well. However, it's a bit more expectable, if that makes sense. Like you know what you've been doing, and the coaster in the best case moves as intended, which for people who can build great coasters, that is the case. For me personally, there are some surprises here and there, but yeah, what I'm saying is that I think just the satisfaction of having an AI animal using your habitat in the way the animal wants to, and seeing this all working out properly is just so good. And I think this is why it keeps me coming back to the game. And I'm honestly looking forward to Planet Zoo 2 a lot because, oh boy, Planet Zoo has aged rather amazingly. So to make a proper step forward, Frontier really has to have been cooking with Planet Zoo 2, especially graphic-wise and stuff. I'm really curious because Planet Coaster 2, even though I still hold my position and I still say the graphics are better in Planet Coaster 2, what I do agree though is they don't look like 6 or 7 years better. They look like a year or two better, but not like dramatically better. And I'm really curious to see what Planet Zoo 2 does. I mean, let alone if they get the lighting from Jurassic World Evolution 3 and a couple of improvements from Planet Coaster 2 when it comes to some models and stuff and textures, that would already make it look much better. But I think the star of the show will be the animals. And the animals in this game, frankly, already look pretty damn amazing. I think the biggest area of improvement would be the fur and fur shaders and stuff. But yeah, let's wait for that. I'm super curious. But here you can see I'm now getting into making the habitat look nice and getting some of the curbs and stuff. And yeah, this is where you really notice again the difference to Planet Coaster 2. Like, still having to hide all these little edges and stuff of pathways is super annoying when you're already used to not having to deal with that anymore. So for those of you who are still only playing the Planet Zoo and have never touched Planet Coaster 2, do it, because you can almost certainly expect the pathing being in the new game as well. So you already know how much of an improvement that is going to be. Again, for every single one of you who hasn't even touched Planet Coaster 2, just do it for the sake of it. Oh, by the way, if you need a proper offer, of course, Instant Gaming will be the choice for you, because it's there's a heavy discount actually on Planet Coaster 2. Also, let me just, for you, okay, there's an exclusive check right now while you see me building some stuff in the background. Let's have a little look what Planet Coaster 2 is on right now. Planet Coaster 2, let's have a look. The deluxe edition, Europe and Canada, no, the normal one, is $24.99, so it's just 25 bucks. That is pretty cool. That's 50% off, actually, at the moment. I'll be putting the link here in the description, as always, so you just type in Planet Coaster and you get the variant you want to. Very much great, very nice, I guess. And also something that I can recommend fully, as I said. I do endorse it, to say the least. Either I'm just like, have you seen that Super Bowl advertisement of like, what was that, Xfinity or so? This kind of American mobile provider, I don't even know what that is, but like with the original cast of Jurassic Park, that was hilarious. I love that one. I have no idea of the company, but oh boy, did I love this advert. But yeah, I do also love the looks of our tiny little pier over here, by the way. The main idea, in case you were wondering, of this building in the back here, as I said in some of the first episodes, in case you're new, this is a bit of trivia, there is a main shelter, a security shelter for floodings and storms, which is in the center little hill of the island, which all habitats will be somewhat connected to. And this is one of the main hubs, with that little garage over here, with that little door where they can be brought in. And so the idea is there is this kind of bunker kind of thing in the hill, you know, and this is one of the access points via this pier, which is why it is over here. It's just like, just a bit of an idea why. Again, we are not focusing too much on realism, but just here and there, I think it's good to just have that, you know. But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm putting in a couple of details here and there with, like, you know, some benches and bins and all these kind of things, making sure they're all in place and just making it look nice. I guess at the end of the day, this is one of the coolest areas here in the park. I really enjoy that. I enjoyed building the beach with all the pieces. And also, I'm just gonna completely spoil that now. I will be adding another realistic habitat to my realistic habitat zoo, which still has no name. I think we eventually called that the Rudialistic Zoo, because of my way of attempting a realism with a tiny, you know, a tiny fraction of creative freedom to make it Rudialistic in a way. But yeah, here you can see I'm putting a couple of enrichment items, hide them in some of the areas to make it really natural. And then I figured, you know what, we've got so many areas here, we can put some more cobble in. And again, the trick as always, if you want to do it this way, make sure to create a group out of the single individual piece you're using. And once you're done aligning the pieces to the ground, you just select the whole group and then sink it in, say like 60% into the ground, so that just the top of the cobble and so on sticks out. Makes the whole thing look even more realistic, and you get rid of some of the overlaps and stuff. Looking really cool. I really do like it. And I think it also worked with the white sand beach. I should have pulled this more into the water, but realistically the water is making the sand actually more dark, so I would need to transition this a bit more nicer into the main land area. But for the moment, I quite like that. It could also be just some foam or so over there. I just in general like the looks of it, where you have it there. And yeah, I did a couple of more details off screen, so in a couple of seconds, I want to say outro cinematic is about to start, which I enjoyed quite a bit. I didn't want to go in-game because I want to give you a proper tour of the first island soon, hoping to finish that in the coming weeks. I am really enjoying myself here again, so that is pretty cool. But yeah, it's about to have a look now in the cinematics, and as I said, I really did enjoy building in here. In case you guys enjoyed that as well, make sure to like the video, hype it if you have some hypes left over, I don't know, or just share it with your friends. I think that's the easiest way to help on YouTube. And again, if you need games of any sort of things, Instant Gaming is gonna help you. And if you want to just help the channel, just keep on watching all the other stuff. But oh boy, look at that. This is one of my favorite shots over here, when you just like the sea turtle the movements may not be my favorite thing in the world. Obviously, it's a mod, and they need to kind of get somehow. I think they're based on the seals, or I think it's the seals, and this is why they're just moving weirdly. But in the water, when they're diving, they look cool. But yeah, here you can see the beach with all the clutter. God, I think it's looking so cool, and it's also so cool that the animals can walk through all these things, and they just have a tiny collision for Tiny Atoll. People going mad there in the background, which is, if you needed another argument why the pathing has to be improved, there it is. Yeah, you can't get... Yeah, maybe this is also why we need a successor for this game. Yeah, I tried to record the cinematic 10 times or so, and I was like, you know what, whatever. You're not gonna make it without any more glitches. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed that, you will now in a couple of seconds see some images popping on your screen where you can sub to the channel if you haven't already, or you can click on another video if that interests you, which helps me to tell the algorithm it's gonna be nice stuff here. And, well, in any case, leave a comment down below if you've got anything nice to say about onlyness, of course. And if you've got some constructive criticism, feel free to add it down below as well, because I am trying my best to bring that in. Now, there's not much more to say. There's like a little bit of an overview of our tiny atoll before we are ending today's video. I enjoyed doing this video for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed watching the video. And all I can say is thank you for sticking with me until this point in time, even though if you skipped forward a little. I see you guys. I do that myself, so you're welcome, I guess. That's Tiny Atoll. That's been the next episode, and I can't wait for the next one. And keep your eyes on the channel. The weekend is gonna be mad. There's a lot of cool stuff coming, so have a good one. Thank you so much for watching, and I talk to you, as always, in the next one. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful time.